Hey y'all, it's Tim Miller from the Bulwark, and oh my goodness, I don't know if you stayed up late enough to watch Alabama Senator Katie Britt's Republican response to Joe Biden's pretty high energy State of the Union last night. But if you didn't, it was absolutely the worst political performance that I've ever encountered in my life. It was creepy. It was weird. There were times where you weren't sure it was real, and we just all need to talk about it a little bit this morning. Now, for those of you who are kind of just getting into politics, just getting engaged because of the Trump threat, maybe you don't realize that the State of the Union response has been a long time curse. Almost nobody ever gives a good State of the Union response. It is challenging, after the President of the United States speaks in front of a room of senators in the historic Capitol, senators, congressmen, Supreme Court justices, the gravitas that places on you. Even at times, Trump seemed like borderline normal during the State of the Union address. They were some of his more normal speeches, and he's just fundamentally an abnormal human. But even Trump was kind of had this sheen of credibility or something that is bestowed on you just from being in that environment, in that room. So then you go from that, where the president is being presidential, and then, it cuts to another politician, oftentimes in a weird place, like in a room or, in their office or, where it's very quiet, where there's no applause. There have been times where candidates have had like very small crowds there from them, and that almost makes it seem worse because they're speaking to this tiny crowd after, the president of the United States just spoke in the Capitol chamber. And so, it is they almost never go well. The best you can do is just do like a gentleman's B minus, gentlewoman's C plus, right? Like that's all you're looking for. Just right in the middle of the bell curve. You don't want anybody to remember it. You just want to hit some points, explain why you think the other party's president made some mistakes, and then move on. Famously, several people have failed this. Back when I was a Republican, I remember this stuff clearly because I was working at the Republican National Committee when Obama was doing the State of the Union, and we were putting up our State of the Union responses, and they were almost all horrible. They were all people that we thought would be up-and-coming candidates to challenge Obama. One was Bobby Jindal, who was governor here in Louisiana at the time, and he, walked down a long hallway and then kind of gave a weird Muppety speech. And then there's Marco Rubio, of course, who got parched in the middle of his response and had to get a drink of water, and he looks panicked. He goes to grab the water, and then he looks scared that he realizes people are watching him while he's trying to get a drink of water really quick. You can find that GIF out there pretty easily. And so those two are ones that stand out as particularly bad within a lineup of bad State of the Union responses. And let me tell you, the Katie Britt performance, I'm using that word specifically, performance, because she was like a bad actor trying out for a role on like a soap opera, kind of a reality TV soap opera mashup. Seemed like she was in a confessional trying to get this, or maybe it was like a High School Musical. I don't know. But her performance was miles worse than even those historically bad performances. I went and rewatched when I woke up this morning, Bobby Jindal and Marco. And all things considered, the Marco water thing is weird and funny. All things considered, they're fine. They're okay. You're not scared at any point during them. At no point do you feel physically uncomfortable. That is not the case with Katie Britt. I was watching Katie Britt with my husband last night, and he was like balled up like a roly-poly while he was watching it. He was so just this vicarious discomfort about watching a woman she emphasizes all the words, and she's crying. She tries to make herself cry at one point, and then she's screaming, and she has a weird fake smile at times.
To think about what the American dream can do across just one generation, in just one lifetime, it's truly breathtaking. But right now, the American dream has turned into a nightmare for so many families. The true, unvarnished state of our union begins and ends with this: our families are hurting. Our country can do better. And you don't have to look any further than the crisis at our southern border to see it.
It was so creepy and so weird, and she's alone in a kitchen. Why is she alone in a kitchen? She's a U.S. senator. You know, they put out some talking points, which are really embarrassing, before she went out to speak. The talking points leaked, and she asked her allies to say that, to call her America's mom. It's like, why are we doing the mom in the kitchen thing? Like, you know, she is a senator. She could have gravitas. I've seen her in other environments where she kind of speaks like a normal working woman. We're about the same age. She doesn't have to be. It's so strange. Like, they set her up alone in a suburban kitchen. There's like a little fruit bowl behind her, and like maybe some rabbit stew in the pot. And it's like, what is why are you doing this from the kitchen? Just be a senator, give a response. You know, you couldn't even really focus on the substance of the response because of the strange setting and the creepy cadence and the weird smiles and performative almost tears, like on the cusp of tears, and you're sitting there wondering what does it kind of made me think about either maybe Scream. You know, I was a little bit worried that there was a call coming from inside the house and someone was going to have a butcher knife around her, just because of her tone, or maybe it was kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the show about the Nexium cult. She's a guy that like recruits these women into this sort of modern day cult. I felt like it could have been a cult recruitment. Or Denise Richards in Drop Dead Gorgeous, giving a performative speech. If you don't get any of these references, it does okay. You can Google them. The point is that she is giving it was a very strange, very unreal, kind of uncanny valley case against Joe Biden. And I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. You really, and don't just watch a clip. You really need to sit down, get some tea, you know, maybe have a 5 milligram gummy, and just watch the thing. Just spend time watching it all, because you really need the peaks and valleys of the fake emotional, sort of cues again is a deliberately chosen word that she goes through, speaking as not a normal human. I just have to say, I don't have Katie Britt derangement syndrome. I thought she might be a VP choice. I really did. I thought that she kind of fit the bill for Trump, but Trump has this lizard sense for this, and so she's got to be off the VP list right now. Trump knows when something smells wrong. I mean, think about it. For all of his horrible traits, he was the judge in The Apprentice. You know, he can judge when somebody's faking it. And so, I think that she's off the VP list. As far as Republican senators go, she's on the more normal side. I mean, she did endorse Trump early, and that was disappointing and frankly maddening. But I don't have any special feelings against her. This view, the one thing that makes me concerned is it was so weird. It has me agreeing with a lot of people that I don't generally agree with. Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA was talking about how that was not what the Republicans needed. Several of the right-wing kind of MAGA influencer types on social media were talking about how strange it was. And so, yeah, maybe it was bipartisanship. Maybe this was the one time that somebody was able to kind of unite the tribes and everybody could join together and say, Katie Britt, that was too fucking weird. Katie Britt, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.